1.21 gigawatts. Great Scott!
Hello everyone, I'm Baltmatrix, and today we are taking a look at crossovers. That's right, we're taking a look at Transformers, Back to the Future 35, crossovers, Gigawatt. And this is the box. The box is absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. I love this thing. I mean, the coloring, the sheer 80s-ness of this thing is wonderful. What's even great is they've got the transformation steps on the top of the box. For those of you that didn't know, the original figures back in the 80s had that. Then we've got the side, which shows the figure, a little bit of Back to the Future love, and the back of the box with the tech specs. Ooh! Wait a minute, what are those tech specs? Muscle, brains, speed, fire blast, and time travel. Function, time traveler. You're never out of time when you're a time machine. When Marty and Doc Brown need a ride through time, Gigawatt is ready to fly. Hell yeah. In the box we have the directions, this super snazzy design back here. And for those of you that don't know, this was a DeLorean. And then the figure. And man, missed opportunity. There's no little thing in the back to put over the red, but I don't think you need it. Man. Sorry, Nate. Cubicle Nate over on Twitter asked me if there was a little, like one of those little red strips that you could put over the tech specs in the back. Unfortunately, there is not. Sorry. Now, besides the car mode itself, the figure also comes with a hook to catch the lightning, so to speak, and the figure's gun with a Mr. Fusion on the back. Oh, that's great. I love it. Does that come off? Please tell me that comes off. Oh, yes, it comes off. Car mode is fantastic. I cannot stress that enough. This car mode is movie accurate, or as movie accurate as it's gonna get. It's really nice. I love the feeling of it. I love the fact that you've got the out of time label. Jesus, not label. License plate. It's been a long day. It's really good. It's really good. And thankfully, they tinted the windows dark so you don't get all the extra kibbly robot-y bits. You can see it in there when the light hits it correctly, but otherwise, it doesn't really show up, and it's not a problem, which, whew, thank goodness. Now let's get a closer up look of the rear of the vehicle with all the detailing they've got going on back here. It's just well painted. I love the overall look. It just works so well. All the cables, all the ribbons, all the struts, everything, the piping for the electrical, it all works really well. It's just nice. Mr. Fusion pegs into the back of the unit, like so. And it looks so good. And then the glorified coat hanger pegs in at the back, like that. And this is probably the weakest part of the kit to me, because it pointing straight back, the hook's wrong. And I'm pretty sure in the movie, it didn't run like this. Pretty sure. But I'm sure with a little bit of a TLC and just boiling water and, you know, heavy objects, I can make the plastic stay the way it is. I wonder if there's going to be maybe a third party. Hey, non-Nef, guys, if you're listening, make a new one of these. That'd be really nice. The gun mounts underneath the front bumper nicely and fits in there with no problem whatsoever. Now, considering that this is a heavy retool of Sideswipe, it makes sense that it's roughly the same size. And this is Sideswipe from Siege, by the way. I really wish my camera could zoom in farther or do a macro mode, because you can actually read the Mr. Fusion on the Mr. Fusion. It's so good. Now, for those of you younger viewers, you have to realize that in 1985, the summer of 1985, this was the car. This was the movie. It was the summer blockbuster of the year, and nothing, and I mean nothing, was going to come close to it at the time. And at the end of the movie, Doc Brown comes up, puts bananas in the Mr. Fusion, and then Marty, lift off the ground, and the wheels fold up underneath the car, and it rockets off out of frame, and then rockets back and jumps forward into time to the year 2015. Seriously, in 1984, a flying car that looked like this had never been done before. Yes, you had Blade Runner, but that was much more futuristic than this. This was pure pop sci-fi at the time. And it's iconic. I mean, it is 100% iconic. They thankfully thought ahead enough to actually put a peg hole in the bottom to enable you to put the thing onto a flight stand. So there you go. Oh, it's so good. I love it. A word of warning, however, especially for the wheels on the back. When you flip them up and down, they're going to pop off. I, in the course of doing this review, already popped both of them off once. They go back on pretty easily. Just be wary of that, and be wary of how much force you're using when you flip them down. Gigawatt's transformation is slightly different than that of Sideswipe's. Slightly. To start off with, come to the bottom and the rear part of the vehicle mode and flip out these panels that are behind or between the rear wheels, thus allowing you to disconnect the rear of the vehicle and flip it out to form the legs. Then come down to the rear of the vehicle mode, and I don't know what these things are. Coolant vents? And actually push them down into the trunk of the vehicle mode. That will then push the toes down. And we can close the shins up and split the legs. Turn the entire upper or bottom torso around 180 degrees. Come to the little wheel well behind the front wheels and unpeg them. And do that on both sides. And then grab the gull wing doors and flip them open. That will then allow us to grab the shoulders and flip them out. Flip out the fists, fold the arms down, and then rotate those panels that were flipped out down as far as they will go. Next, we can grab the entire chest of the vehicle mode and flip it down over the head. Once you've got the hood about halfway down, you need to push your finger up underneath the hood and unlatch the middle of it, spin it around 180 degrees, and get it clicked into place. For the front wheels, you want to fold them in like you're going to go into flight mode, and then there's another hinge there that feels like you're breaking the wheels, but you're actually not. So you get them parallel to each other, and then you could fold the chest down, and it will peg into an area just above the crotch. And there's this little tab inside the shoulder that the shoulders will then peg into. And once that's good to go, you're done. Fully transformed, I think the robot mode works incredibly well. The gray and the black are just really nice. If a little bit boring, I would have loved to have seen some more red or some more color come through in the robot mode, but I can forgive it. The gull wing doors are a bit of a eyesore in the back. Gull wing doors just are an eyesore in real life. I don't even think the Tesla Model Y pulls them off all that well. The only thing that pulls off gull wing doors well is a Lamborghini Countach, which, hi Sunstreaker. Anyway, I think the robot mode is nice. There's some very good molding going on here. Again, you could use just a bit more color. Oh, and I just noticed the flux capacitors molded into the shins. Oh, I love it. It's really nice. And then the flux capacitor itself on the chest is perfect. And I think any fan of the movies is going to recognize those dates. I also love the head sculpt. The welder's goggles is a wonderful nod to Dr. Brown in the beginning of the movie. And the overall look just is good. It's just good. Yeah, it's slightly modified Sideswipe head, but I like it. A good size comparison is the Lamborghini brothers and Sideswipe, his mold father, and Sunstreaker here on the right. It's a good deluxe-sized figure. The only thing that I have to say negative about it is this. this needs to be redone. Anybody got a 3D printer out there willing to print something like that? Because this thing ain't great. Head is on a ball joint, but it's so thick and stocky that it's not got a lot of movement. Shoulders are on swivels and a hinge. There's a swivel at the upper arm. Bend at the elbow is 90 degrees. Fists do not articulate, unfortunately. Torso swivel. Ball joint in the hip. I'm sorry, no. A hinge and a swivel in the hip. Thigh swivel. Bend at the knee. Joints up here in the legs. Little loose. Nothing we can't fix. And then the ankle articulation and a little bit of foot articulation. Overall, I love Gigawatt, and I feel really bad for sleeping on him until I saw it being available on the Big Bad Toy Store. Went, picked him up, super happy with him. I'm pleased as punch with him. Way more than I was with Maverick. Maverick was a good figure that was ruined by the materials and an atrocious paint scheme. Here, the paint scheme makes sense, the colors make sense, the homage to the car makes sense. Everything here makes sense, as opposed to that Maverick figure where who really gives a dang about the planes in Top Gun? It's about the characters. The planes are kind of secondary. Anyway, let me know what you think of this figure down in the comments. Hey, I've got the crossover Ecto 1. Do you want me to review that? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you all for watching. I have been Baltmatrix, and I'll catch you all next time.